session of Leaders Are Readers Book Club. Well, by now you must have guessed that today we are going to live in the world of fiction. But before taking you forward to the session, I would like to ask a simple question to you all. What is that one thing that attracts you towards the fictional books? Anybody? I would like to see some virtual and physical raise of hands, please. I would repeat the question. Yeah, sure. I would like to pass the beacon to Abu, please. Please go ahead, Abu.
So I love the fictional world because, as you mentioned right at the start, it gives an opportunity to live a life that I don't have currently.
Exactly. It gives us the opportunity to live into the lives, of so many characters that we come across in the fictional books. And also you must have remembered that story, right? Bhediya Aya. And it really comes, nobody believes. And that really imparts the lesson that we shouldn't lie. But I think if it wouldn't be in the form of a story, I wouldn't have been able to retain that lesson. So that is the important of fictional books or fictional stories. Taking the session forward, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the timer of the day. But before introducing the timer of the day, let me tell you, like always, the session is divided into three parts. The first is the keynote session by our very own Pankaj Giri, that will be of 20 minutes. And then after, I'll hand over the virtual podium to the Q&A round, and then after, we'll have an amazing storytelling by Sudeep. And after that, book recommendation? No, we have something else, but I'll tell you later. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you all to the timer of the day, Vaijanti Ghosh. Even our timer of the day recognizes the importance of time as she has just joined Toastmasters and believes it to be the best decision she has ever made. Indeed, and I wish you very all the best, Vaijanti. May you grow by leaps and bounds.
Thank you so much, Shreya.
Thank you. And taking the session forward, actually much awaited, none other than Pankaj Giri. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, Pankaj, born and brought up in Sikkim, began his career with a book review blog. Interesting. And wrote his first debut novel, The Fragile Thread of Hope. The ebook version of the fiction novel was selected as top 5 finalist in the Amazon Pen to Publish contest. That's incredible. In 2020, Pankaj also won Best Author at Indian Literary Awards. That's really incredible. And apart from all these things, I have something interesting for you all. And do you know what is that? When I asked Pankaj that what is something that made him a successful author among million others? And do you know what he told? He told that, do you know, Shreya, it's the single minded devotion towards writing. It's the patience in the face of rejection and the unwavering confidence that he had in his book. And that is something that made him a successful author. That is really an inspiration to us, Pankaj, and really honored to have you here. And to bring in more such motivation and inspiration that is indeed worth emulating. Ladies and gentlemen, I would request all of you to please welcome with some virtual and physical applause the author, motivator, speaker, blogger, none other than Pankaj Giri. The stage is all yours, Pankaj. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hi. Hi, Shreya. Thank you so much for such a lovely introduction. And so, first of all, I'd like to thank Vimanyu for approaching me for this, to approach me and invite me as a lead speaker, and also to Abu for all the lovely support and the encouragement. And I'm really honored to be invited as a keynote speaker, uh, so uh, and it's really so happy to be with all of you out here. And I'd like to share whatever little knowledge I have And in today's session, I'll be sharing about 10 things, a few things, not exactly 10, but a few things that I learned, that I've learned till now along my writing journey. So, along with that, I'll be sharing tidbits about how my writing and publishing journey has gone till now. So, so I think maybe we can start the presentation now, Abu. Oh yeah. So yeah, thank you so much. So yeah, so in the beginning, I'd like to say that this is exactly not my first book. I in 2014 I co-wrote my first book named Friendship, Love, and Killer Escapades. The acronym was Flake, like the cigarette that flake. So with my college, one of my college friends. So I sort of, hurried into publishing it. I just wanted to become a published author or something. It was just a kind of I hurried into it, and then it kind of received a lukewarm response and many critical reviews. So after that, I began working on my language and writing skills by reading good books and articles on writing online, and then so. Throughout this journey, I learned a few lessons. So I just wanted to share them with you, so that it might be helpful for any budding authors out there who are there in the group. So can you please, yeah, yeah. So this is the first example. So there are these two options, so I'd like to make this session interactive, so that even you all can participate and learn. So could we have one volunteer, please, for this?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, me.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Hi, thank you so much. Could you please choose one option which you feel is better? I can't see your name.
So, Amit, can you
Uh,
please read both of
Amit.
these sentences and choose the one that you
Yes.
feel is better?
Yeah.
However, he recognized the futility of the proliferating his blood pressure, ruminating, and he understood the futility of the increasing his blood pressure, thinking about him. I would like to go with B option.
Thank you so much, Amit. So you have chosen the correct option, in my opinion, because the thing is, could we go to the next slide once, Abu? So yeah, using big words, we should always avoid using unnecessarily some big words. So one or two in between is okay, but in the first book, what I did was I tend to use a lot of big words. So the idea behind that is the background behind that is, I happened to read a book which contains such flowery language, and I happened to check out its review on Amazon. So the reviewer stated that, this kind of writing is what young authors should emulate, rather than trying to copy the colloquial language used by commercial authors and all. So I was misguided. I was really inexperienced at that time. I was misguided and began to use such big words, hoping publishers would be impressed by my vocabulary. So I was wrong, obviously, but my book failed to be lapped up by prospective readers, as nobody wants to consult a dictionary after every sentence, so later I realized that the key to good writing isn't using big words, but weaving together simple words to create a magical effect. So could you go back to the previous slide, please? So using simple words, you don't have to use like cognize and proliferating and ruminating and him and all. You don't have to use, you can just simply use like the futility is a good word, it's a strong word. So I think the remaining words we can just use simple, so that so that it becomes simple. The readability improves for the reader. So thank you so much, Amit. So now I think we can go to the next slide, and then the next slide. Yeah. For the second one, like volunteer, like even Amit, you could do it, or
We have got Shreya.
okay, sure. Um,
Hi.
so hi Shreya. So maybe you can select one of the two options which you see on the screen.
Yeah, I'll select B.
You select B, right? So again, once again, like you have made the correct, you have selected the correct option. So in this first sentence, uh, you are making a very big mistake, and this is like we have used adverb in the dialogue tag. Fred said angrily, but in the second one we are saying barked and his eyes glinting with anger. So could we go to the next slide, please? Yeah. So when you say Fred said angrily, so does this help you picture or feel anything? How was the anger? How was how was Fred's voice and all? It is just like plain. It just said angrily. So instead of that, if with a stronger verb bug in the second option, stronger verb bug, you can imagine the rough tone of voice. Also, his eyes are glinting with anger, helping you visualize this scene better. And even not just eyes glinting with anger, like you can even add an action like he punched his fist on the table or something like that. So to show the anger instead of telling it that he said it angrily. So as Stephen King has said, the road to hell is paved with adverbs. Maybe he just exaggerated it, but adverbs are considered to be a reflection of weak, lazy writing, as they don't form a good enough picture for the reader. And occasional use is fine, like especially if it's not in dialogue tags, in the narration is fine, but it's better to avoid it as much as possible. And as far as adjectives go, it's always better to remove redundant adjectives from a narrative. So instead of saying a very large change, it's better to say a drastic change. So if we go back to the previous slide for a moment, yeah, so here also, like, you can say you're making a very big mistake. So instead of saying a very big, you can say a huge mistake. The extra word you can minimize, and it will have a stronger effect on the reader. So yeah, so can we go to the next slide, and then the third one? Yeah, one more. Yeah, thanks. So for this, could we have another volunteer?
Haritosh.
Haritosh. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hi, Haritosh. So
Hello.
you can see the two options on the screen. So
Mhm.
could you please read and select one of them, which you find better?
I think I'll go with B because it's more descriptive.
Correct. Exactly. Yeah. You have said it in a single word. so so yeah, you have said it correctly. So could we go to the next slide, please? So yeah, there is this rule called show don't tell. So it is a bit confusing, that traditionally a story is supposed to be told rather than shown, but still this rule is there: show, don't tell. So, but the logic behind this is, the reader should feel as if he's traveling, seeing, hearing, smelling, experiencing everything along with the characters. So like instead of saying that it was a rainy day and Mary got wet while going home. So if you could go back to the previous slide, so you can show her, you can show how she's walking. She's striding towards her home, and then she is slicing her way through the persistent drizzle. So we can see that it's not just simple rain; it is just a drizzle. So you can see the raindrops are flirting with her hair. You can just visualize the raindrops falling on her hair and her shirt sticking to her skin, and yet determined she's carrying on. So there are so many things that you can show instead of simply telling that it was a rainy day and Mary got wet. So this is one of the things. So could we please go to the next two slides? Yeah. So maybe the next volunteer, please.
Neha.
Neha. Hi, Neha. So, could you select one of the two?
A, I will kill you, he said. How dare she accuse him, her own husband, of such an hideous crime? I will kill you. He banged his fist on the table. How could she accuse him, her own husband, of such a heinous crime? B.
B. Yeah, you all are selecting all the correct options. So, thank you. So, yeah, could we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, then yeah. So this punctuation is really important. We should always, like, before writing, we should read about the proper usage of all the different kind of punctuation. And there is one mistake which I've seen that the most debut or young writers, new writers, they make. There is this dialogue tag. If you can, could we go to the previous slide, please? So I will kill you, he said, right? So this is an example of a dialogue tag, the he said, she said thing. So before the end quote, you can see that a comma has been used. So that is the proper way to end punctuate dialogue tags. But there's something called action tags. Like in the next B option, he banged his fist on the table. So that is an action that the reader is that the character is making. So the full stop has to be used instead of comma. So I've seen in many books, the writers tend to make this mistake. So this we should be careful about that. And could you go to the next slide, please? So no, one more previous. Sorry. So we should always try to use as few exclamation marks as possible. Even especially while narrating, and even the parentheses and brackets also should be used sparingly. So if you go back to the previous slide, then we can see that in the first example, how does she accuse him, her own husband? We have told it in brackets. So you should try to avoid it, and the best alternative to that is, if you want to add something in between or your own thing, is you can use m dash. M dash is the longer version of the dash. So instead of bracket, you can use dash, and instead of the exclamation mark, you can change the sentence in a subtle way, so that you can use other like a question mark or something like that. So this is one thing that I wanted to share. Yeah, shall we go to the next two slides, please? Yeah, thanks. Yeah. So the next volunteer, please.
Sudeep, yeah, this side.
Sudeep.
I would like to, yeah.
Sudeep,
A long a long paragraph.
Yeah, the longest one for you.
Thank you very much. The room was a option. The room was untidy. The floor was written with pieces of paper. Clothes of different clothes were thrown all over the bed, along with the shattered documents. About 12 or 15 red partial pens and the black and white pens on the study table. The curtains were long, touching the floor. The floor tiles were color with a rectangular pattern. The brown cupboard with the hexagon pattern with the drawers fitted to the ink with table color types. The B was entirely the floor was littered with pieces, clothes were thrown over the bed, shattered documents. I would be going with the B one.
B1, yeah. Once again, correct. Like all of you have chosen correctly. Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay. Sorry for taking so much time, but I would be going.
No, not at all. No, thank you so much. Amit. And shall we go to the next slide, please? Yeah. So this is where this is an aspect where most young writers, new writers struggle. So ensuring a perfect balance between insufficient and excessive description of surroundings and feelings. The feelings shouldn't be redundant, and even you should try to weed out any descriptions which may seem unnecessary with regard to that particular scene. And some description is necessary to create a proper ambience, but you should not remove them altogether. But it's a fine line you have to read. So if you go back to the previous slide, So you can see, the first two sentences are fine, but in the third sentence of the first option, A option, the clothes of different colors were thrown all over the bed. Obviously, clothes will be of different colors, so no need to mention that. And then about 12 to 15 red Parker pens and black and white pencils lay. So although that detail might be useful if it is a crime fiction or something like that, but if it's just normal fiction, then we can avoid that. You can just say pens and pencils, so we can minimize the description. And dark ink, you can see that drip from the edge to the ground below. So even that, instead of that and the last sentence, the ink dripping from the table with blue tiles, so we can just condense that and ink drip from the edge of the to the blue color tiles below you have to be very careful, and the last sentence is fine. So the problem with having too much description is it distracts from the story itself. People tend to read more of description and the story goes in the background. So this clear balance should be maintained. So yeah, shall we go to the next two slides, please? So there's a few extra tips I just thought I'll just glance through. So this POV, we should try see in advance, like whether it's first person, third person omniscient, or third person limited. In first person, as we know, it's from the first person's perspective, but third person, there are two: the omniscient and limited. Omniscient is like a god mode kind of thing, like you can see the thoughts of each and every character, so that is third person omniscient. But the modern most recommended technique is third person limited, as you don't show the thoughts of other characters apart from the main character. So there is no chance of head hopping, like going you can just relate with one character and only the actions of the other character are shown. So this part is it's the best option, I feel, in my opinion, to use. And the second one is, like, we should try to self edit the book as much as possible. Showing it to professional editors and beta readers, so that is important. And even using tools like Grammarly and Microsoft Word, it helps. And researching and reading your own book reviews and learning from that is important. Shall we go to the next slide, please? And writing dialogue is the best way to follow the show don't tell rule, as we can see the expressions and actions and revealing certain things like character traits and all. And it's always better to write shorter sentences and paragraphs, like the previous description thing. If it was a long paragraph, then you don't feel like reading it. So that's important. And using it's always better to avoid cliched metaphors like dead as a doornail, as only time will tell, and using simple words instead. So yeah, shall we go to the next slide? So initially I submitted my book to. I wrote this book after a lot of research, and then I submitted it to agents and publishers, but didn't get a positive response from them. So I decided to self-publish it as an ebook, and I was selected as the top 5 finalists in the Pen to Publish contest. And thereafter, I resubmitted my book to publishers, and fortunately Fingerprint agreed to publish it. And the book has done well. It has got love from readers all over, and readers have compared my writing with the likes of some big authors here. And recently, as Shreya mentioned, I won the award as well. So yeah, let's go to the next one, please. Next slide, please. So yeah, as a parting note, I'd like to say that writing is a never-ending journey, and there's scope for improvement even for accomplished writers. The process of learning always has to go on, and I hope my literary journey and this writing tips hope inspire aspiring authors to write. And I'd be really grateful if you could kindly read my book and provide your valuable feedback, and if possible, post it on social media as well. And I'd like to thank each and everyone for this opportunity, leaders, South Delhi Toastmasters, and Leaders and Readers Book Club, for this opportunity to express my views. Thank you so much.
Wow, what a wonderful session. Let's have some physical and virtual applause, please. Really, the tips and inspiration, motivation, everything that is worth emulating indeed. Thank you so much, Pankaj, for such wonderful session. And ladies and gentlemen, there is
Most
one
welcome.
thing that I didn't tell you about Pankaj, that Pankaj loves interacting with his readers via social media and always replies to his messages very early. But that doesn't mean that you will flood his window with the messages. So we have the Q&A round for you. So I would like to hand over the virtual podium to the audience. Ask as many questions as you want within 5 minutes. Okay, go on. Who would like to volunteer first?
I would like to ask if permission granted.
Yeah, sure. Go on.
Should I start?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Start.
Pankajji, thank you very much for the enlightenment you have given us. And
Well,
I would like to ask one question for the aspiring readers who are not having a habit of reading, and but inspired by you, will start reading. And I mean, let's try to make a note and write a book on that. So, what would be your suggestion for the starters in terms of reading and cultivating the habit of writing a book for the inspiring, for the aspiring readers? According to you.
readers, right? Uh, yeah, obviously,
Yeah, little tips that can help.
to write for the aspiring writers, you mean, or the readers?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So first of all, yeah, you should read a lot of good books and see how how the books are written. You should read with the point of view, with the perspective of a writer. Read like a writer. Chitra Banerjee ma'am, actually I've seen her sessions. I've visited her sessions, so I learned it from her. So to read like a writer and see how the sentences are being constructed, how is the punctuation, and how the narration is being done. How the point of view, how the dialogues are written. So everything, like, you should be seeing it with a with observant eyes. So that way it really helps, I feel. And then just to jot it down. If you see a good sentence, then jotting it down, and then so that you can use it for your further reference. And also, so that helps, I feel. And then obviously you need to do a lot of research on the internet about writing styles, and how to improve your grammar, punctuation, and how to narrate. So doing a lot of research and doing it, so eventually it helps. Thanks,
Thank you very much.
thanks.
I can see Vimanyu. He wants to ask a question.
Yeah,
Please go on.
yeah. Thank you, Shreya. Hi, Pankaj. Thank you very
Hi,
much for
hi,
joining
hi,
us.
Vimana.
Thank you, thank you. And by the way, so I have read your book and I really loved it. I think I read it a long back ago, and I
Yes,
really
yes.
wanted to ask this one question from a long time, and that is the story anyhow or any part of the story is inspired by your personal life, or it is totally based out of your imagination? That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Vimanyu. So I can say that about 30% of it is reality, like whatever I've experienced in life. Some sort of experiences. I think it does come through. I've read that about other writers as well. Some sort of personal experiences does seep into your book. So that is there, but I would say 60 to 70% is fictional. Especially the Fiona's part is totally fictional, and Som's part, the adult part, is a bit based upon reality, but the childhood part is quite fictional. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
Thanks.
Any more questions? Please go on. Any more questions that you have?
Can I ask one? This is Haritosh. Let me sit
Yeah,
on the
please go on, Haritosh.
I've heard that whenever a writer writes a fictional book, once the book is written, a part of that book always resides within. They feel that they have changed a bit. So, do you also feel that after writing the book, you have also changed a bit?
That's a good question. Yeah, I feel like, with the book, the experiences that come along the way, and the little bit of fame that comes in, and obviously the story itself, and how the readers are readers are reacting, like how the response is coming from readers. So even that that does change you sometimes, especially for the good, I feel. And sometimes you do have certain heated exchanges also with certain that gets to its learning experience. I feel I have grown as a person. I've had positive and negative experiences, but I feel the positive outweighs the negative significantly, and I feel like I have grown as a person, and I've learned to be more humble, and it has been a really good learning experience.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Hope it answers all your questions. Now, to take the session forward, to take you into the world of fiction, to be more precise, we have Sudeep Khanna. Sudeep is working in a medical device company, and he just loves to participate in almost all life and competition. His hobbies include playing chess and spending quality time with family. So, ladies and gentlemen, with some physical and virtual applause, please welcome Sudeep Khanna for the storytelling session. Stage is all
Am
yours,
I
Sudeep.
audible? Yeah, am I audible and visible?
Yes, you're audible and visible.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Normally in a life, either life teaches us some lesson or we learn from life. Friends, I am here not to impress, but to express and the lessons learned from my first day of my job. Friends, whenever we imagine or recollect the first day of a job, what we would be imagining?
New
Nervousness.
people,
Anxiety, stress.
new people.
Excitement.
I think there is some technical glitch from Sudeep's side. We are not able to hear him. Sudeep, are you there? Sudeep, please unmute yourself. You're on mute.
Yeah, my apologies. The internet got disconnected. So let me continue
Please.
from where I had. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are. Please go on.
Just am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. Please
Yeah.
go on, Sudeep.
Sorry. Sorry, my internet got disconnected. So I will continue from where I had left. So once I entered my boss cabin, sir asked us a common question: among you, who is comfortable in driving a car? So within a fraction of a second, I replied, "Sir, I am very much comfortable in driving the car." Okay, Sudeep. Now do one thing. Whatever files that are kept in the front of my table, take all these files along with your colleagues to the new office. Do the entire setup work there, and we will be meeting in the afternoon, and we will discuss how the things will be taken forward. So with that enthusiasm, I, along with my colleagues and the files in my hand, I approached the parking area where my boss car was parked. So once I reached the parking area, I would like to introduce one more character in that particular parking area. That character name was the security. He was asking me a number of questions. By somehow, I told him and answered the entire scene. So I was in the search of Mr. Mehta's car. Mr. Mehta is the name of my boss name. And somehow I approached the car, and along with my colleagues, we were comfortable inside the car, and we were in that particular area that we would be starting the car and reaching the area. So now here the entire scene began. So once I was about to start the car, instead of going smoothly forward, a typical sound came. So I was confused what this particular sound is all about. I again tried with a positive approach. The same sound. Again, all the colleagues who were present inside the car were looking to me in a very spectacle manner. Sudeep, do you really know how to drive a car, or you were just bluffing in front of sir? Remember the first day of your job where you try every ounce of yours to create an impression which is everlasting. But my impression was just a bluff master because the car was not working it's supposed to be. To add the salt on this particular, I should say, incidents, the security person came and he also enjoyed the entire scene. He told that in morning, Mr. Mehta, the name of my boss, he came that and parked the car in a very normal manner. The car was working. It is you only who create the entire incident. Let me call Mr. Mehta and tell you and tell him about the entire scene and tell him that you are the only person who have made the entire car into a mess, and because of you the car is not working. Imagine, first day of your job, the colleagues are looking to you in a very spectacle manner. The add-on to that particular scene, the security person is giving a negative message to my boss. In this particular scene, I was completely blacked out. I was not able to see how can I get from this particular situation. Within that particular fraction of second, a person came, the office boy who was observing the entire scene. Somehow he managed to rectify the entire thing, and now I was able to start the car, but this time not but drum. So this way I reached to the office where I was supposed to do, and the entire setup work was done. So I would like to share two lessons which I have learned from my first day of my job. Friends, normally whatever there is in our mind or whatever we think, it is not the same way that it will be happen in your life every time and every day. You have to prepare for the challenges that life throws to you. Second, and the most important thing is that if you are willing enough to do a certain activity, no matter what obstacles come to your way, there would be a supreme power that will be helping you and getting you along the target that you have to achieve. So you have to have the willpower and face the challenges that come to your way. I hope these of my lessons will be helping you in molding your life goals and recollecting your first day or the first incident to you, and wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Wow, that was a great story indeed. Life is obviously not a bed of roses, and we have to face everything that we come across, and we have to face it beautifully. And you beautifully taught us, and just kept us glued towards the screen when you're making that sound that really captivated our attention. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to take this session forward, as till now, we have just been in the world of fiction. But as Pankaj rightly pointed out, that reading is as important as writing. So let me tell you, I just stumbled over a blog that I was reading few days back, and there was this very beautiful learning about how to get most out of whatever you read. And there were three, four lessons that I really learned from that blog. First, it was rightly pointed out that it's not about reading as much book as you can. It's about retaining out of that as much as you can. So rightly pointed, that really captivated my attention towards that blog. And I read many lessons that the blog imparted. The first one was that while you're reading a book, while you're reading an article, be it a book, article, or anything, just make a dialogue to that book. Just feel everything that is written there. Just visualize, just imagine everything in your mind as if it's a movie, it's a picture. And then you'll be able to retain most out of that book or blog or article, whatever you're reading about. The second very interesting point, it was mentioned that just treat yourself as a teacher, as if after reading this, you're going to teach your friends, your family, or somebody. So as you treat yourself as a teacher, you will be able to retain most out of the book, because at some point you're going to teach all those things to your friends, to your peers, and everybody. And apart from that, there was this beautiful point that was mentioned, that was the purpose of reading. The purpose of reading a particular book, a particular article, or something that really aligns with what is going on in your life. For instance, I was very much I was very much disturbed with my routine. I couldn't organize my routine in a good way. So started reading the book, That One Thing. And it very beautifully taught me that we cannot focus at too many things at one time. So likewise, you must focus on the books or articles or blog that really aligns with the purpose of your life. And these things I find it worth emulating while you're reading something, because indeed it's not about reading as many books as possible. It's about retaining as much as you can. And by now you must have guessed that we have replaced the book recommendation with, any guesses? We have replaced the book recommendation with blog recommendation, because blog is something that we just incessantly read, right? And I'm sure that you must have read a blog anytime soon. So to take the session forward, ladies and gentlemen, can I please have a volunteer who would like to go first for the blog recommendation, please? Yeah, I can see Amrit. Yeah, I would like to pass the baton to Amrit, please. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Shreya. So, one of my favorite corporate authors is Vivek Gambhir. He runs this blog called Monday 8 a.m. So, for those of you who don't know, Vivek Gambhir is the chairman for the Godrej GCPL, Godrej Consumer Products Limited. I came across this blog when Godrej was one of my clients, as I was working for them in a research agency. The beauty of this blog is he sends out an emailer every Monday. He says that's the perfect time to send the blog, because you're having a start to the week. When you start your day a little bit early, you come in like by 9, you read the blog, you get on with your work, you get to learn so much from him. He's spoken of gender equality, he's spoken of diversity, he's spoken of getting rid of the concept of manels, which is male only panels, and making it gender inclusive. He has even invited guests from the Godrej group. One of my clients, Somashri Bose, he is married to somebody in Godrej. So he's actually shared their story of how they make it work despite being in, one is in sales, the other person, Anuj, who she's married to, is in marketing, and how they managed to make it work in such a global competitive organization. So his writing is very simple, lucid, and I'm going to send the link for it. I'm so happy we're doing blog recommendations. He is one blog I recommend, Monday 8 a.m. for everybody to read. Thank you.
Wow, I could see the happiness reflecting from your face while speaking that blog, and I'm glad that I came up with this idea. I can see beautiful faces out there, and I can see someone volunteering. Sneha, please go on, Sneha.
I'm Sneha. I
Okay,
just
sorry.
recently changed my name, but thanks.
Okay, no problem. So I can see. Okay, please, someone volunteer. Who would like to go next? Come on, we all read blogs, right? I can see like.
I'll go next, Shreya, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. Go on, Abu.
Sure. One of my favorite bloggers happens to be Vimanyu. I'm sure he's present here. I follow his blogs more or less because the kind of I really love blogs when they are 360 degrees. So I would recommend all of you to read his blog, especially when it comes to a book recommendation. He starts a journey, it is a journey that he takes you to, and he helps you explore why is it that you should read. I love the fact that he's not biased, and this is a typical problem because if I love a book, for instance, Elizabeth Gilbert happens to be one of my favorite authors, and at times it's like the blind spot; you can't see any fault. And a good blogger is somebody who can give you a holistic overview. So recently when I read one of his blogs, I was very happy the way he appreciated the book. He also had so many reasons to go ahead and point out what can be better. I also like the fact that apart from giving his point, he has done a lot of research towards other bloggers as well. So I feel that it's very important. Research plays a vital role. And it is very important that before you give your blog, you should read what has been given by other authors and then put it across. So that was something that I really liked. So I would recommend you people to go ahead and check out Vimanyu's blog.
Indeed. I too read Vimanyu's blog, and the best part is that the way he writes the book reviews, it really just captivates our attention. And when you're taking the name of Vimanyu also, I was talking to Vimanyu and he was also referring to some blog that he read about cooking. Right, Vimanyu? As you people are not giving your names, so I am just picking random Please share
Yeah,
that
so
article.
that's a nice trick, Shreya and Abu. So Abu mentioned my name, so like this is a trick so that we can volunteer. Yeah, I can get that.
Please go on. Please go on.
Even I want to volunteer. I am like following this one thing. So I don't know whether it will be considered as a blog or not, but there is a concept which started by Ariana Huffington, and Ariana Huffington, you all must be knowing her. She is from Huffington Post. So she really came up with this concept that is Thrive Global. So like what she did is, like, in her life there was a time when she was so busy with her corporate life and she just felt like she even broke her head while she was over exhausted from her life, from her corporate life. And then she realized the concept that we all need to take a big break, including a good sleep. And then she came up with this concept that we don't just have to live but to thrive. And this is the website where you can check. That's a very beautifully designed website, that is Thrive Global. And even you must have all heard the various blogs of Jay Shetty. Even Jay Shetty is in collaboration working with the same website also. So I would totally recommend this website, because as for all of us, many of us are from the corporate world. We really looking for the spiritualism in terms of corporate world, and that's one of the perfect site to go and dig yourself into the spiritual world, which you can apply into your real life as well as in your corporate life. So that is the one recommendation I would definitely give you all. And thank you, by the way, thank you, Abu, for reading my blog. Thank you, Shreya. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Vimanyu. And now I can see here someone named Bhuvnesh Bhuvan. Okay, he's smiling at us. Please unmute yourself and come up. I'm sure that you must have read some blog recently. Yeah, please go ahead.
Bhuvnesh, we can't hear you.
Yeah, Bhuvnesh, we can't hear you.
Bhuvnesh, can you unplug and replug your earphones? This is actually something that is being told by the IT team. At any point in time, if you try this, it works. And we can have the next participant share the circuit.
Yeah, I can see.
Oh, he has changed the earphones altogether.
Yeah, I can see Haritosh. Haritosh, please go on.
Thank you. Even though I mentioned to Abu that I'm not too much into blogging, I just remember I follow one person in LinkedIn, and her name is Sarah Blakely. If you don't know, can you hear me?
Yes, Haritosh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so her name is Sarah Blakely. Sarah Blakely is the founder and CEO of a women innerwear industry called Spanx. And she has an incredible journey of being a woman entrepreneur. And she was struggling in corporate life and then went on to become a billionaire. And her blogs, whenever it comes on LinkedIn, are really provocative, and you can really get a lot of insight. So I really follow her, but yeah, I am not too much into blogging and listening, reading into blogging. So yeah, that's the only one I could think of. Thank you, Vimanyu.
Okay, though you're not much into reading blogs, but still you explain very beautifully. And now I would like to pass the beacon to Santhia. Santhia. I'm sorry if I'm not able to
Sorry.
pronounce your name correctly.
Hi all. Sorry, my name. I didn't post my name. I wanted to quickly introduce myself. My name is Santhya Satish Kumar, and I came to know Amrit. I hardly read. Okay, I hardly read anything, and hence the main purpose of me joining this particular club was to at least get some kind of interest in reading and blogging. So to be very frank, I have hardly read anything. So I really sorry can't share anything because my total interest is totally different. It's into art and craft and Toastmasters. So maybe next time I can try. Sorry for this.
No problem, no problem.
Shreya, can we give Bhuvnesh a chance?
Yeah.
Can you hear me
Please
now?
go on, Bhuvnesh. Yeah, we can hear you. Please
Okay.
go on.
Okay. As I was saying that, can I recommend the blogs of my seniors, of my classmates? Like I have been to college, and there have been some really great, good bloggers who have written exceptionally well articles, and I have personally been a fan of them. So can I go ahead with their blogs?
Yeah, sure.
So,
Please go on.
there's this friend of mine. When I was in college, I just recently graduated from my college. Her name is Vidisha Bhate, and she runs a blog by the name of Thoughts of a Hungry, Sleepy Brain. And she hasn't written many articles. She is pursuing law by profession, and lawyers in a way are very busy as far as the academics are concerned, or even when they go for the job. So yes, but of all the articles that she has written, part of them are written in German as well, because she has learned German. And all of them, in a way, somehow they connect with the feelings of nostalgia, and the fact that she uses the words to create the scenery around her. She usually takes inspiration from her own world, and tries to evoke that sense of nostalgia, and presents it in a fictional sort of way, you know, through the way of poems, or through the way of a setting where she's talking about a girl being in Paris, stuck up in her uh, uh, room, and she doesn't want to go outside because she likes the feeling of raindrops falling on her windshields, and that in a way is how she likes the rain. She has started liking the idea of rain. So yes, I would like to recommend to go ahead with a blog. It's by the name of Thoughts of a Hungry Sleepy Brain, and I believe that you will be able to enjoy it. It's full of the stuff of nostalgia and how it evokes the romanticism that is contained within it. It's really great.
Guys, it's time for the polling session, please.
Yeah.
So we have to do, there's some technical glitch. I would request all of you, I'll share the names of the people. Can you please ping me the name of the person, and I'll go ahead and I'll share the results. Sorry, it's a way too manual. So these are the people who have gone ahead and given the block recommendation. You just have to ping me, South Delhi Toastmasters. That's not my name, that's my club name. So please don't mistake. My name is Abu Shada. These are the people. So in South Delhi Toastmasters, if you can only ping me the name of the person who you felt was the best blogger. I've got one vote. One vote, it means yes, you know. Two people have voted. Three, okay. Four, yes, come on. Five. Your vote can make a lot of difference in somebody's life. Great, awesome. There was a tough competition, but we have a winner today. This person is somebody who's wearing a yellow colored t-shirt. Would you like to take a guess? So I'll go ahead and I'll share the.
Sneha. I was not there.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, sorry. So yellow, I got confused.
So Shreya is going to announce who's the person, who's the winner. Shreya, can you please announce the name of the winner?
I think everyone by now have guessed. It's none other than Sneha. Please have a huge round of applause for her. Indeed, she was like blushing. She was really happy while speaking about that blog.
As always.
Congrats, Sneha. Congrats, Sneha.
Thank you.
Now it's time to introduce the next keynote speaker, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the next keynote speaker, I don't think Abu has given me much introduction of her, but I know that. But I mean, I've watched many videos where she was present, and I know that she is a distinguished Toastmaster. And Anusha ma'am, I know you're present here, and you might not be knowing me, but I know you have watched like many videos. You were there in Camp of Champs, and I literally like your evaluation. I might have watched 10 times. The way you evaluated, like everything from that, you you just, I don't know exact name of that speaker who you were evaluating, but the way you evaluated that precisely, that there's so much to learn. The way you evaluated is just worth emulating. And yeah, so that much I know about yourself, you at least. So yeah, I would like to now hand over the stage to Abu. Thank you. Abu,
So
you're in mute.
Anusha, Anusha, the stage is all yours for the next 2 minutes.
Just a
Anusha,
quick
you are on mute.
question. A quick question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
But can
A
you
quick
increase the volume?
question. Yeah, I
Can you hear very
can.
softly?
Can you hear me now?
Very softly.
Yes.
Is it now? Is it better?
Yes, it is better. Yeah, it's better.
Okay. How much time does it take for you to decide whether you're going to watch a virtual presentation or not? 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 5 minutes. Amrit.
3
Sneha.
seconds. 3 seconds.
Sneha, right on dot, Amrit. That's fantastic. That's really fantastic. There's another thing called the 7-second principle, which helps you decide whether a person is trustworthy and reliable. Now, these are facts which I've taken from my book on public speaking, which is called Banish the Fear in Public Speaking. And that's the book I plan to share with you. It's based on research. I've done psychology, a master's in psychology. So it has something called the halo effect. That is, you trust better dressed people much faster than you trust untidy people, right? And then I have terms like the initiator tease. So these are small factors which I factored into my book. And I have come up with absolute research on public speaking, which comes from my experience also, and which comes from what I've been reading also. I have a request for all of you. For all of you who are going to participate in my session, I'd love it if you were to record a 1-minute video of your funniest speaking moment or of your best speaking moment, and we'll decide who the winner is during the course of the week. So looking forward to having you with me, where we talk of banish the fear in public speaking. I really hope I'm able to give you practical tips. Thank you, and back to Abu.
Thank you so much, Anusha. I'll give it to Shreya first to do her final closer, and then I'll take it further. Thank you so much, Anusha. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Shreya, you are there?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you everybody for joining the session. Thank you, Pankaj, for the wonderful session and such inspirational and motivational thing that you really taught us, and that is worth emulating, of course. And if you have not planned to write a fictional book yet, then do plan now. Now we have got so much suggestions from Pankaj, and also Pankaj is very much active on social media, and he replies to our messages very soon. So you can ask Pankaj also if you have any query about writing the fictional book. And thank you all the participants, though it was a new initiative that we came with, the blog recommendation, yet there was just overwhelming response, especially from Sneha, and she won also. So congratulations to her. So thank you. And thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Anusha. I'll be waiting for your next session. Now I'd like to hand over the stage to Abu. Thank you.
Great. First, we go ahead and take picture. And if you allow, I would like to go ahead and narrate my favorite shairi. Okay. So, but first, let's go ahead and take our picture. Sneha is our, she's our camera woman, and she takes the best pictures. I have to go ahead and tell that. Go ahead and please go ahead and switch on your video camera. Trust me, you are more handsome and beautiful you think you are. And this is as per my research. Okay. Sneha, have you taken the picture? Great. Awesome. Now, people, it is very important to understand that our job as leaders or readers, we started the entire mission to help people. And it is such an overwhelming feeling when people come together. Okay. So thank you so much. First, the keynote speaker, Pankaj Giri. What is very important is to come out of your comfort zone. He is excellent when it comes to writing, but he had that fear. Can we give that another round of applause for him to take and step to come out of his comfort zone? The second person, Sudeep. Sudeep mentioned, I have never done storytelling. Now, when you do storytelling, it's always like your first love, your first kiss. That was his first. So great job, Sudeep. And I'm just amazed, people. Now, this is something that I tell people, and I don't know what is happening with the universe. I approach random people, and out of 100 people that I approach, 99 people say yes. And when I say yes, Vajanti and Shreya, I approached them and they were kind enough to say yes. So thank you, Vajanti. Thank you, Shreya. And last but not the least, we are super excited about Anusha. It's also very important to understand there are a lot of things that we can see here, but there are a lot of major things that we cannot see here. One person who gets a lot of credit is Strejita for those lovely PR that she made. And second, Paramjot, who is one of the coordinators. So it's now my turn to go ahead and share my favorite शायरी, and that's how I would like to conclude today. और अगर आपको पसंद पड़े तो वाह वाह जरूर कीजिएगा. ऐसे I would not get that particular feel, okay? And it is said, कुछ लोग तुम्हें समझाएंगे, वो तुमको खौफ दिलाएंगे. कुछ लोग तुम्हें समझाएंगे, वो तुमको खौफ दिलाएंगे. जो है वो भी खो सकता है. इस राह में रैजन है इतने. Raisin are highway robbers. Beautiful lines once again. कुछ लोग तुम्हें समझाएंगे, वो तुमको खौफ दिलाएंगे. जो है वो भी खो सकता है. इस राह में रैजन है इतने. पर तुम जिस लम्हे में जिंदा हो, पर तुम जिस लम्हे में जिंदा हो, ये लम्हा तुमसे जिंदा है. ये वक्त नहीं आएगा घूमकर. तुम अपनी करनी कर गुजरो. जो होगा देखा जाएगा. Okay, so that will be all from mine. Thank you so much, lovely, beautiful people. Next Tuesday, it is Anusha to see the show. Thank you so much, people. Have a beautiful evening ahead. That will be all from mine. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I would like to thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Sneha. Thank you, Pankaj, Sudeep, Vajanti, Anusha, Bhuvnesh, Geeta, Haritosh, Ira, Monish, Rajiv, Roy. Yes. Thank you so much, people. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.